Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we have my review for It Follows, a small little horror film which came out a few years ago and was received very well, if I'm not mistaken. And I've wanted to watch this movie for a while. Finally got around to it just the other day, and there will be spoilers in this video, and thankfully I can say lived up to the hype. I really enjoyed this movie. This is another prime example, alongside many other horror films, that studios still don't seem to understand sometimes, that jump scares, when done right, are great, like in The Conjuring 1 and 2, but the jump scares don't make it scary. You don't need jump scares to make it scary. This film has like 2. The Shining has 1, and it doesn't even make me jump. And The Shining is the greatest horror film ever, in my opinion. And this is a great horror film, and it has nothing to do with the jump scares. One of the biggest things that I openly love with movies is the ambiguity in movies. That's why The Shining is so incredible to me, because of how much it leaves to your mind. And when it's done right, when the artists leave you with enough to build something in your own mind, and like I said, The Shining is the big one for me. It gives you enough solid information that everything else is left to your imagination, and that is why The Shining is so scary. Everything, a whole chunk of it, is up to you to decide, is this what happened or is it like this? You know, and I think it's done really well. And it's about finding a balance, I think. You need to, because if you leave it completely ambiguous, then no one's gonna know what's going on. But you don't want to overload with like exposition and just make it like the recent series of Doctor Who, where it's like, yes, this is happening, and they have to say everything. You don't have to, and this film finds that balance really well, in my opinion. This film could very easily be comedic, like the Torchwood Sex Gas episode. It could really just be awful, but thankfully it is not. This isn't plugged in. Yes, it is. I'm a dummy, but as I was saying, thankfully this movie hits the mark with all its serious themes and you can't, like, it's a incredibly difficult balance. I don't think I'd want to make a movie like this. You know, I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is to make a movie anyway, and hopefully I get to find out one day, because obviously that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do at college. But I imagine how hard it is to make a movie in itself, let alone make a movie with such serious themes, with stuff like this. But this film does it right. It hits almost every mark correctly. It is uneasy, it is eerie all the way through. The performance that Michael Monroe, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but her performance as Jay is pitch perfect. I mean, genuinely insane. Up there with some of my favourite horror performances ever, I have to say. And that might be a hot take, but I don't care. And the rest of the cast is believable and do pretty good jobs as well. In terms of characters, I think they're fine. I don't think they're amazing. I think Jay is really well written and really well helped with her performance, but the rest of the characters weren't overly investing. I would have liked to see a bit more. I think it would have helped the stakes if the other characters had more built onto them. But as a whole, I do care. And at the end, I was fist pumping the air, wanting Jay to get out of that pool and everything. This film obviously has a pretty serious connection to real life stuff, and preys on that fear that we have in real life. There are a few things that you can read into in this film, linking back to the ambiguity I was talking about earlier, but the clear one I think everyone will see watching this film is the STI connection, because obviously this creature is passed on through sex. It is essentially an extreme STI in execution, but at least to me, STIs are a very scary thing, and this film preys on that fear. The artists know that STIs are scary and they are a real thing, and to me this is like a incredibly exaggerated, terrifying version of one in a way. It doesn't get bogged down in making a connection to real life stuff. It's not forced, it's just kind of there, and it's obviously on purpose, but it's ingrained in a way. It doesn't drag down. It's still a horror film that is scary and you can enjoy. The film knows that it's a common fear and it plays on it. Also, great visual storytelling, something I always appreciate in a movie, something I think is really hard to do, something I don't know if I could do very well at all, but I always appreciate it when I see it in the film. And this film does it really well. There's not much, heaps of exposition. There are 1 or 2 scenes, I think, but even then, they're not like massively long or overdone or anything. It's really upsetting to see how far Jay goes to try and help herself from this creature, this thing, this it. If you've seen the movie, I imagine you know what scene I'm talking about here. I'm referring to the one where she walks towards the boat of men in the sea, and then we cut to a shot of her in the car, soaked and just looking very sad. She never confirmed whether she slept with those men or not, but in my opinion, I think the film implied that she did, considering everything else that had happened in the film up to that point. I think it was like a breaking point for her. Like, she just wanted to try and get away from it, and obviously it didn't work. Either she didn't do it and it just kept following her, or it killed those men. And again, up to your mind. In my personal opinion, I think she did sleep with the men in desperation, and then the creature must have killed them and got back to her. But that's just my opinion. Everyone else, totally up to you. But throughout this entire film, it brings out moral questions, and that scene being one of them. It brings up moral questions, which I'm not going to get into really, but I just thought I needed to mention it at least, because it is a part of what brings me into the film, and it brings out a lot of emotion for me. It is flawed though, in my opinion. I think where we see it kill Greg, I think that is very unnecessary. Now, I understand there's a lot to read into within the scene and the way it kills, but I just think seeing the creature actually killing in a lot of cases, it took away the fear that it had. And I mean, it was still pretty scary throughout the rest of the film, and the swimming pool scene and everything, but just I think that was a little mistake. I think we could have seen Greg's mum, or the creature in the form of Greg's mum, and then just jump onto him and then not see the actual act. I think that could have implied all the same stuff, but yeah, just for me, seeing the actual thing kill wasn't great. Also, I don't know if I was stupid for this, but I was under the impression that all the creature had to do was touch its victim, and then it would just die in some horrible, gruesome way. I don't know, that's just the way that Jeff, I think his name was, the guy who passed it on to Jay, I think that's the way, just the way he explained it put me under that impression. Maybe I'm stupid for that, but because of that, when we get to the beach scene, well, the beach scene is great. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty scary, but I think my one problem with it, and it doesn't take away from it too much for me, when it grabs Jay's head, the fact that it does have to physically take you out, I think that takes away a bit of its power that it had before, and I know, and I don't know, it kind of takes away from it kind of takes away from the stakes for me. And speaking of Greg's death, it felt fairly unimportant, which was quite strange, because, you know, it kind of feels like the group doesn't notice. The only one we see it have a real impact on is Jay, but the others, it feels like we don't get much, and I feel like if someone you know has died because of this thing that's been happening through the rest of the film, I feel like it would have a bigger impact on everyone, but I just feel like it would if it was someone you knew. On the whole though, a great little horror. So much within such a small film. I think it's only an hour and a half. And it's genuinely scary. It's executed so well. The ambiguity really plays well throughout here. The swimming pool scene where we see it turn into the cloud of blood, and then Jay and her friend have sex to be safe there, and they say they don't feel very different, but then the last shot is those two walking together, and then there's just one person at a fair distance behind walking behind them. Is that the creature? Is it still alive? I don't know, and it's something I'm not going to give my opinion on, because I think I think that's just a great ending, and I think that is something everyone should figure out for themselves, to decide for themselves, but I think just it executes so well. Whatever you believe, even if you think that it's dead, they're going to be living in paranoia for the rest of their lives, because they don't know. They saw the cloud of blood, but they don't know, you know, like, they're going to be living in paranoia for the rest of their lives. And so am I after watching this film. I give It Follows an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of It Follows in the comment section below. And also wanted to put a quick part on this video. Be careful, everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay. Obviously, the world is still pretty crazy. Just stay at home, you know, as much as you can. It's really been taking a toll on everyone's mental health, and it sucks, you know. It really does suck. I mean, I've been trying to work on myself lately. I've been trying to, because this YouTube channel and my gaming one, I worry about what everyone thinks so much. But I've been trying to kind of think, should I really let these people who I don't know and will never meet, should I let their opinions really get to me? Like, should I do that? I need to try not to. And I'm open to criticism by all means, as long as it's friendly and not overly aggressive. But yeah, lockdown is whack. It's not fun for anyone, of course. At least I have college to look forward to, I suppose. Can play games and stuff. But yeah, just wanted to end. I haven't really spoken about stuff. I don't want to make a full video on it because I want to mostly stay clear from real world stuff. I want this channel to be a nice place. But I felt I wanted to say something. I like to every once in a while. But as I said, thank you guys, and let me know what you thought. And that's it for this one. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.